Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining. I'm Helen Monument, Chair of the World Administrators Alliance. Today, I'm going to take you through everything you need to know about the 14th World Administrators Summit, to be held in Berlin in October this year. What it is, who it's for, how you can participate, and why it matters for our profession globally. For those who don't know, the World Administrators Summit is organised by the World Administrators Alliance. We are a non-profit trade association representing administrative professional associations, networks and individuals from across the globe. Our members represent the voices of over 150,000 administrative professionals. Here you can see our mission and our vision and our aims, which are to guide, develop, influence and elevate the administrative profession. Held every 2 years, the summit is a global working meeting for administrative and office professionals and their associations. It is not a conference. It's the international platform where the profession comes together to discuss our challenges and then work together to produce strategies, guidelines and resources for the benefit of the profession. The WASummit is where the global administrative profession comes together to shape its future. The summit is practical, strategic and deeply collaborative. First convened in New York in 1992, the summit has been hosted in various countries around the world, evolving from its beginnings as the International Secretarial Summit into today's World Administrative Summit. The delegates at each summit create resources that give the profession tools and strategies and a common language to elevate it globally. We have Administrar, our World Action Plan. It's written for associations and for individuals, giving them goals and strategies on all aspects of professional development, from ethics to performance management. Of course, the Global Skills Matrix, which I'm sure you've heard of, was produced by the World Administrators Summit. In addition, we produce papers on important topics that you can see here, and also on things like workplace harassment, diversity and inclusion, all to help and support the administrative profession. So here are the headlines. We start on the 19th of September with our online pre-summit discussion sessions. I'll tell you about those in a moment. Then the summit itself is a 2-day in-person event, and it's being held at the Radisson Hotel Collection in Berlin, Germany. We're being hosted this year by International Management Assistants, IMA, and they are adding their conference to the end of the summit week, so you can attend that as well for a special reduced rate. The summit is open for administrative professionals, whether you are a member of the World Administrators Alliance or not. Delegates and participants are welcome, and I'll tell you more about those two groups in a moment. And this is how it works. We learned during the COVID years that we could still collaborate with each other online and that we could be far more inclusive with no travel costs or visa restrictions. So we have continued with our pre-summit discussions online so that as many people as possible can take part. So the 19th of September, we'll be holding 4 different working sessions facilitated by experts from the profession. More about that in a moment. And those discussions continue on day 1 of the summit in Berlin, where the different groups will continue working on their separate topics, after which they will produce outcomes that are presented in a plenary session. And then those outcomes are shared after the summit, or the work is continued through task forces and teams. Our 2025 survey for the Global Skills Matrix gave its input from 3,221 administrative professionals from 69 countries. And they told the Alliance how their roles have shifted. We know the profession is changing, and the summit gives the profession the opportunity to discuss how to cope with these changes. And together we produce strategies that will help administrative professionals and their associations to thrive and succeed in today's changing profession. At each summit, we pick 4 topics that the profession tells us they are the most challenged by. So the survey told us that the top 10 issues were things like visibility, being misunderstood and undervalued, the lack of clear career pathways, having job titles that don't reflect actual work, increasing workload and role expansion, and the AI skills gap, and unequal access to technology, a lack of professional development support, strategic work increasing without any structure or recognition, organizational misunderstanding of workload and capacity, anxiety about the future, and of course the impact of AI. So from this input, we devised 4 working sessions. We invited expert facilitators to lead these sessions, and they are all staunch ambassadors for our profession, bringing a wealth of knowledge to the summit. So there are 4 sessions, and when you sign up for the 19th of September, you can choose whichever you feel resonates the most with you, the topic that interests the peers in your country the most. It's first come, first served, as we do want an equal spread of people across all 4 topics. So don't wait too long to register. First we have Lucy Brazier with her topic, Define Yourself or Someone Else Will. This is all about strategies to help other people understand who you are and what you do. It'll be about your personal profile, your CV, recruiting, job interviews, how to blow your own trumpet, how to elevate yourself in your company, and how to stay relevant as a senior and get engaged and involved as a junior. Then we have Rhonda Scarf, From Overwhelm to Ownership. Rhonda is another renowned and multiple award-winning speaker, author, consultant, and trainer. This session explores how to stay grounded in the midst of uncertainty, creating practical strategies for emotional regulation, boundary setting, resilience building, and navigating the emotional load of the role. How can assistants move from overwhelm to clarity, from pressure to agency, and from survival to sustainable performance? Then we have Sarah Richson, From Invisible to Indispensable. Sarah is an expert in growth strategy, international business and human capital strategies with a deep experience of talent architecture and management within the African terrain. So you'll discuss what conversations, metrics, and standards can help administrative professionals move from a support role to a recognized strategic contributor, how to make our impact visible and measurable, how to move from unseen support to recognized strategic value, how to prove your impact and who sees it, and how to demonstrate values in ways that matter. And last but definitely not least is Juanita Mort. AI is the tool, you are the talent. Juanita is not only a seasoned EA and educator, Juanita is the technical officer of the WA Alliance. She previously served as president and board chair for the International Association of Administrative Professionals, IAAP, where she advanced the visibility, respect and growth of admin professionals around the globe. So AI, how do we use AI to work smarter without losing our human edge? You'll be discussing how to leverage AI to increase our effectiveness while strengthening our uniquely human contribution. So how can we ensure that AI redefines us, not replaces us? And how can AI enhance our role, and where does it not belong? So these are interactive working sessions. They're not workshops. You bring the voices of the profession to the table. You listen to each other. You share your experiences from your own country, and the facilitator will guide your discussions and input towards concrete outcomes. And when we come to Berlin, those discussions will continue on day one. In your facilitated groups, then you'll work together to create those practical solutions, strategies and resources that will help and support administrative professionals around the world. Again, the summit is not a conference or a training. You come to contribute, not to sit back and just listen. All of the outcomes are added to Administrar after the summit. Also on day one, there'll be some great exciting news to share about the next steps for the Global Skills Matrix. Then day two will include the presentations from the 4 winning teams of the Executive Support Global Hackathon, which was held earlier this year. Country reports will be shared from Brazil and another country we're still open to about the state of the profession there. And we have a presentation from a guest speaker who shares their experiences on how they started a new association in this new age. There's so much to learn from that. And we end the summit with an open discussion, a Q&A forum. So as I already mentioned, the summit is open to members and non-members of the World Administrators Alliance. There are 2 ways you can join, either as a credentialed delegate or a participant. Now, in the past, the summit was only open to credentialed delegates or observers who were really only there to listen. The feedback we received from previous summits asked for more interaction. So we decided to ditch the observers in favour of participants, so that even if you're not representing a country as a delegate, you can still make your voice heard. Now, to get the most out of the summit and to make the biggest contribution, attendance at the online session and face-to-face in Berlin is the most beneficial. Of course, we realise that it's not always possible for people to travel, especially if their costs are not covered by their organisation, in which case you are more than welcome to make your contribution in the online session only. You can attend as a delegate or a participant. So what's the difference? Delegates represent their country's administrative professionals. They must be accredited by their association network. So when you fill in the delegate credentialing form, you have to include approval by your board. You bring the collective voices of your country to the table, not just your personal opinions. And delegates have voting rights, with a maximum of 5 delegates per country, one of which is the leader who has the vote. So it's 1 country, 1 vote. Applications close on the 31st of August. Then, if you come as a participant, any administrative professional can join the discussions session and the in-person summit. There's no credentialing required, but you have no voting rights. And this distinction is important because both roles are valuable, but delegates carry the responsibility of representing their national community. The work of the WA Alliance is based on global collaboration. We want to understand what the challenges are in your country. Being a delegate means that you must consult with those you represent before the 19th of September on one of the 4 discussion topics that you want to join, so that you bring their voices to the table, not simply your own opinions. So why attend the summit? Well, you come to be heard. You bring the voice of your country's profession to a global table. You grow professionally yourself. You can join summit task forces and project teams to work together to advance not only your own career, but that of your peers. You collect worldwide. You meet bright minds and generous hearts from across cultures and continents, all with the same passion for our profession. And you contribute to producing the solutions, strategies, research and reports that is shared with the administrative profession. Your actions elevate and shape the future of our profession. We are inclusive because everyone has the chance to contribute. We instigated the Lloyd Inclusion Fund, which offers free summit attendance to delegates from countries facing economic challenges. So cost is not a barrier to being heard. We are one profession, one voice, with many cultures. At the last summit, 61 people from 23 countries took part, representing more than 125,000 administrative professionals. And this is how it works. 10% of the annual surplus of the World Administrators Alliance already funds this initiative. And we're delighted to have received a donation from Lucy Brazier's Executive Support Hack the Future event. Anyone can donate any amount to the fund at any time through our website. And this is so powerful because this is what excites us most. The recipients agree to become Alliance ambassadors, extending our global reach. We ask them to contribute articles, share insights with our global community to strengthen our shared knowledge. They mentor others in their country, multiplying that impact. So every dollar that's donated creates real opportunity. And we do this because we're willing to invest in a stronger, more innovative, truly global profession. Lloyd showed us that real leadership means opening doors for others. And the fund bearing her name ensures those doors stay open. Those who donate to the fund, whatever the size, will help to change lives and strengthen our entire profession. Because geography shouldn't determine destiny. Because every voice matters. This is how we build the future that our profession deserves. And why does it matter? Well, because right now, there's a brilliant administrative professional in Nairobi, or in Manila, or in Papua New Guinea, or somewhere else, with ideas that could transform our industry. And we want to hear those ideas. Financial barriers shouldn't silence them. The fund removed those barriers by covering the amount of the summit registration for professionals from underrepresented and economically disadvantaged regions. So this is what we offer. Free attendance at the online discussion session, which is worth $50. Free attendance at the 2-day summit in Berlin, which is worth €450. So the applications are open to administrative professionals from economically challenged countries. And there'll be a panel of the World Administrators Alliance that decides on the basis of eligibility. So you attend as a delegate representing your country. and we're happy to provide you with a visa support letter and invitation on request. And what do we expect? Well, we expect a commitment to give something back. We ask that those who successfully apply for the fund contribute articles or interviews, share insights with our global community to strengthen our shared knowledge. We expect that they share the summit outcomes with the peers in their country, multiplying the impact. And they agree to become a World Administrators Alliance ambassador in their country to extend the global engagement for us. The summit in Berlin is being hosted by IMA, as I said. Their international annual conference follows immediately afterwards, so you can get the most out of your trip to Berlin by attending both events. IMA are offering participation for summit attendees at their conference for the member rate. 3 of our facilitators are also IMA conference speakers, Lucy Brazier, Sarah Richson and Rhonda Scarf. So during the summit, you have the chance to get up close and personal with them before you see them on stage. You see there the hotel, the Radisson Collection. There are, of course, plenty of other places that you can book your accommodation if you have a different budget. And the price for the summit in Berlin includes the whole 2 days, the welcome reception, the summit dinner, lunches and breaks. And if you're bringing your partner who only wants to attend the reception and the dinner, the social events, that's €85. And you see there's a difference between the online event and the Berlin event. We at the Alliance operate with US dollars because we're a global organization, and we are doing the registration for the online sessions. The Berlin event is being managed by IMA, and they work in euros. So that's why there's a difference there. Here you can see the key dates that you need to know. Registration is open for both the online discussion session and for Berlin. If you're coming to both, you need to register in 2 separate places, but I'll put up the link in the next slide for you to see. And the application for delegates, credentialing, and the Ethloid Inclusion Fund applications close on the 31st of August. So the 19th of September is when we start the online sessions. The 21st and 22nd of October, the summit happens in Berlin, followed by the International Conference of IMA. So thank you for listening. You can see my email address there. If you have any questions, please write and let me know. You'll see also the links where you can join the registration for the online discussions. There's the delegate credentialing form link. There's the WASummit website, and there's the registration for the summit in Berlin. The link to apply for the Ethloid Inclusion Fund will be shared with you within the next few days. If you have questions, please let me know. I'm willing to answer everything. And if you do need an invitation letter from me, which will support your visa application, then please feel free to do so. Thank you for listening, and we really look forward to you joining us online and in Berlin. Thank you for your time.